This is where it gets real. 8 teams remain in the hunt for the biggest prize in European football. Chelsea are in Seville tonight to face Porto in leg 1 of our UEFA Champions League quarter-final tie. And this one has got a bit of history.
Some games simply don't need hyping up. It's got all the ingredients of a Champions League classic.
Oh, that's really clever with Johnson. Far post and in!
He's dumped it home.
Malouda, good position! Wonderful Chelsea goal! And it's in! Where did Drogba come from?
Chance here for Chelsea, 1-1. Andrei Shevchenko. Oh, a beauty!
Shevchenko and Ballack has scored! Massive goal!
Hello and welcome to Matchday Live. 2 former winners, an away leg in a neutral venue, plenty of common ground, plenty of familiar faces and a few more. Joining me, of course, this evening. Tonight is going to be a good one. I'm very, very excited for it. In the company of Jason Cundy, Pat Nevin and Abby McCarthy as well. We're all feeling, I think, in that middle ground between very hyped but also very nervous. Jay, I'll start with you because before the Atleti game, mate, forgive me, but you're a bag of nerves. You're all over the gaff. How are you feeling tonight, pal?
Similar. It's the magnitude of the game, because it's been a while since we've reached this stage of the Champions League and we know the importance of it. And this is a game, a tie over 2 legs. I feel we can get through, but of course, the closer it gets, those nerves kick in and you start to think about at the weekend and how vulnerable we were defensively. Okay, we were down to 10 men and you saw what they did to Juve, especially in the first leg. So look, this is a game we can win, but naturally, as I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of every Chelsea fan, I'm nervous. Why shouldn't I be?
Yeah. No, absolutely right, mate. And Pat, like Jay said, naturally, and I think we'll be disingenuous here if I certainly, as a Chelsea fan, when you look at the draw ahead of it, you go, Porto I'd quite fancy. You want to avoid Bayern Munich, you want to avoid Man City, you want to avoid PSG. However, Porto have been very good in this season's competition. They've shown how good they were in the previous round against Juventus as well. The closer we get to kickoff, I think the more and more nerves set in and you go, this is going to be a real challenge tonight. We've certainly not got an easy draw by any stretch.
There is no easy draw if you get to this level of the Champions League. And the one thing I would underline is the fact that, look at all those other teams, you know what they can do. But we also know that this team will give you a tough game. I think it's going to be a really exciting game tonight, but I don't think the tie is going to be finished tonight. I think there's going to be a lot to play for by the end of this. But if we can be some sort of position where we feel that we've got a slight advantage going into the second leg, then we can be in a brilliant place. We can be a really happy place. But look, these are historical moments. Every year that you ever get to the latter stages of the Champions League, it's historical, it's memorable, something extraordinary happens, and it will happen this time. I'm certain of that.
Abby, I know we'll have all watched sort of from a neutral's perspective last night, watching Liverpool and City, and both of them are kind of far from over in terms of going into the second tie. Liverpool got a little bit more work to do than the Man City in that aspect. But like Pat said, it's probably not going to be settled tonight. But I suppose the biggest thing is that you take something positive into the second leg next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we can get an away goal, that is going to be crucial, isn't it? But Porto are a tough team. I definitely, when I saw the draw, was like, but that I shouldn't have done that. They're still an incredible team. I think one thing that massively stands in our favour is they are without their 2 top goal scorers in Oliveira and Taremi as well. So I think that might help us out. But it's so tough in the Champions League, isn't it? But I just think hopefully we can do enough tonight for the first leg, as you said.
Fingers crossed. I think we're all feeling cautiously optimistic, which is why let's go straight into Play Predictor now and talk about it. You can win a £100 Megastore voucher and a signed shirt as well if you top tonight's leaderboard. Last week, Toby from the US won. So if you fancy it tonight, if you want to get involved with it, make sure you do. You need to get yourself to the 5th stand. That pretty sharpish, actually, because it closes at 7 o'clock tonight. Here's what we've gone for then. I've gone for a 2-0 Chelsea win. Pat's gone for a 2-1 Chelsea win. Jason and Abby have both gone 1-0. Abby, like you said, it's going to be a tight one. It's probably going to be more of a cagey one because they are a good side. We're a good side, but you've got to be positive going into this game, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to be positive, especially after maybe not a very good display at the weekend. I think that was our warning, and I actually think we needed that. We've been so consistently brilliant under Tuchel, and I think as fans, we get ahead of ourselves as well, don't we? Thinking, oh, okay, we're doing pretty well in all competitions here. So I think, this is a chance to react from the weekend, come in, and we're going to be well drilled and hopefully show what Chelsea can do and take the win.
Jace, it's about a reaction tonight, I suppose, because we've all sat on this show for the last 7 or 8 weeks, and Chelsea haven't looked like conceding goals. It's not been a case of we've not conceded them or rode our luck. We've not looked like conceding goals. So I suppose if you get a clean sheet tonight, you can kind of put Saturday to bed and move on past it, full stop. It doesn't become a thing. I think that's part of it tonight.
There's been a lot of those strange results over this season. You look at what Man City happened to Man City, when they played Leicester, Aston Villa against Liverpool, Spurs against Man United, and we are another one of those long line of weird results and high scoring games. They perhaps have slowed down. Nonetheless, it was a painful display, and even though we went down to 10 men, it was a sharp reminder, actually, that even at this level in the Premier League, a side that's probably going to get relegated can do so much damage. So it just gives you that reminder. And I think both managers going into this have alluded to the fact that may well be the case. I think the manager said that it's a bad result for them, that it may refocus and perhaps remind. Because I think even though we have been, you're absolutely right, we don't look like conceding. I'm not suggesting complacency can creep in or Tuchel would let it. But I think that's a reminder that it will not be allowed to creep in. So 5 conceded, it's an anomaly. Let's park it, let's move on, and let's hope a clean sheet follows today.
Pat, in a way, if you win 2-1 today, which is obviously your prediction, 2 away goals is pretty much the box seat, isn't it? That's as good as you can get. 2 away goals from home. It's certainly not tie over, but my word, you're in a commander position.
It would be a fantastic result for us 2-1 in that situation, but it's just these games can be mad because it's okay. Yes, it's away goals, but you know what it's like. It's nobody's really at home, so it's a kind of strange situation anyway. I like what Jason was saying there about these extreme results that we've had this season because you don't know when they're going to happen. The right time for it was to happen was actually Saturday. That was the right time because we needed to find out. And sometimes you don't really know about your team until something goes badly wrong, and then you learn a lot in a short period of time. And I think Thomas Tuchel learned a lot in a short period of time. Absolutely do not expect that sort of thing tonight. Anything like it from any of the players whatsoever. So that was a really good position to say, if you're going to get beat at some point, get beat then so that you're ready for this, which is the biggest tie of the season so far. And that's exactly where we are at the moment. So I know Chelsea fans will be worried about it, a bit down about it, slightly freaked out by it. But as long as you say we get the result tonight, then you do. You park it, you move on, and you're relaxed.
Completely right. The brilliant Lee Parker's out in Seville for us tonight. We're going to get team news as soon as we've got it. But I want to start with Hot Topic 1 tonight, which is a little bit different. We're talking about sliding door moments. Now, we've had a lot of Champions League moments over the years, some iconic moments as well, that straight when you think of Champions League, you think of the anthem, you think of the big nights under the lights at the bridge, and you think of certain moments that perhaps have gone our way and some that perhaps haven't. So we're going to kind of speculate what could have happened if a goal or a decision would have gone a little bit of a different way. So we've got 3 different scenarios for our guest tonight. So I want to know your thoughts on it. Abby, I'm going to start with you. I want to talk about what would have happened if the ghost goal would have been given. The Luis Garcia little flick over. I mean, it's in a different postcode. It's not even over the line anywhere near it, is it? But obviously that's a slightly blue tinted glasses there. But what do you think about that one?
I'm glad you've come through on that one because that one still annoys me so much this day. It definitely wasn't over the line, as you said, or even slightly over. I'm thinking because the ref was making an interesting call in thinking that was a goal. Cech doesn't get sent off for kind of taking out Boris. Doesn't happen. It's fine. And then Lampard is going to score that free kick that he takes later on in the game. It's going to go top bins. It's an away goal. Then Liverpool can't beat us. We go through to the final. We take on the mighty AC Milan. I mean, it's going to be a tight affair, isn't it? But I'm thinking maybe a duff cross. Didier Drogba gets on the end of it, scores a bit of a worldie, and then we win our first Champions League.
Well, look, I mean, like you said,
dream, isn't it? You gave me artistic freedom, and I took that with both hands.
I enjoyed it. And one step further, and I'm doing this because I've got a lot of friends that are Liverpool fans. I'm sure we all have. But Steven Gerrard probably is wearing blue next season, isn't he? Not? Wasn't that the big seller in him staying and not coming to Chelsea? Was that Liverpool won the Champions League? So things are very different, aren't they? Like that's the thing, though, isn't it? Decisions like this, we've even seen a couple of contentious ones last night in some of the Champions League games. These things happen. So, Pat, I'll come on to you then, because I think Abby's absolutely nailed that. That's the kind of tone we're setting. I mean, we've already won a Champions League then in Abby's mind. We're coming. So I'm ticking that one off now. We're up to 2 in my count. Okay. Monaco, that was another big game in 2003-2004 semi-final. Monaco scored just before half-time in the second leg, haven't we? We're 2-0 up at the time, 3-3 at the moment on away goals we go through if we keep it 2-0 at half-time. How important is it to keep that lead? And if we don't concede before half-time, it's a completely different team talk. It's a completely different 45 minutes in the second half.
Right. I would argue that was the biggest sliding doors moment in Chelsea Football Club's history. Right. I'm going for it this time. Right? And the reason why I'm saying it, and I think it's a lot of people know, now Claudio Ranieri's there. If we actually managed to get through that, which I think we would have had they not scored that goal that you're talking about there, Claudio gets us to the final. Who do we play in the final? Now, the manager's a bloke called Mourinho, right, for Porto. But it's only Porto. We'll probably beat them. Ranieri wins us the Champions League. And we start on this road that we're going on just now. Question is, would it have been as good a road? Because Jose Mourinho might not have come.
Fair point.
He would have went somewhere, probably
Mm-hmm.
after Porto. Who would it have been? It might have been United, with the Real, whatever. We might not have had the next season in our place, the man that helped change the club as much as Roman, Jose Mourinho, came in. The next season, we win the league. The season after that, we win the league. Within a short period of time, it's only 2 years into Roman Abramovich's reign, we are now one of the top clubs in the planet. That was almost day one, ground zero for Chelsea's lift off. So I think that goal could be argued as probably the most important one, but not the way we thought it was. In the end, it probably worked out well for us.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it?
In Pat's alternate universe, if I'm combining Abby's as well from different eras, we've got 2 Champions Leagues and about 15 league titles now in the last 10 years, which I'm loving, which I don't even know how it works, but I'm having it. I'm all for it.
Oh, by the way, can I add one other thing? We bought that season Didier Drogba, Carvalho, Paulo Ferreira, Petr Cech and Arjen Robben. And that's who that Mourinho, etc. brought in. Come on, be fair.
We're done all right, Pat. I think you're right there. Yeah,
we
I think
did
you're
all
right
right with that loss.
Jace, this last one I'll say for you, and I've made sure that firstly you're feeling all right, you're calm. I've made sure you've got a seatbelt on your chair as well that no one else can see, but it's on your lap. I've seen it because this one I know is going to rattle you because it's rattled me, and I've had to watch it back. What if we'd been given any of the 4 penalties? Shall we go with? Let's be fair. Let's say 4 penalties because we could probably count up to about
6.
7 against Barcelona, 6 or 7 easily against Barcelona, second leg of the 2009 semi-final. What if any of those are given? Iniesta doesn't smash it in the top corner in the 93rd minute. Talk to me. I'm going to give you free rein here because I feel that I can just sit back and let you. I've wound you up now.
To this day, and there have been many disappointments, even the season before when John Terry slipped and missed the penalty, I have never experienced disappointment. And I was at Stamford Bridge doing the commentary with Chelsea TV that night. The life being sucked out of Stamford Bridge when Iniesta scored. But the point you're making, absolutely right. There were at least 4, maybe 5 or 6 examples of where a penalty could and should have been given. The first one I remember was Malouda, who went down. He was on the left-hand side in the first half. Potentially should have been given. Second one for me, Didier, it's a penalty. He's cut tackled wrong side. I can't remember, it might have been PK, wrong side. In today's game, that's not only a penalty, but because he doesn't get anywhere near the ball, maybe a red. But the 2 that really do rankle is that Anelka, as he's flicked it around PK and PK's arm is out and he's in on goal. How either the linesman or the referee, the linesman in particular hasn't seen that. But then, of course, when they went 1-0 up, in the dying seconds, Ballack has a shot. Eto'o comes out with his arm up, strikes his arm. If the goalkeeper made that, you'd say, what a brilliant save. Eto'o does it and the referee runs away. I still, to this day, the feeling is kind of returning in a very small percentage. But a mixture of annoyance and frustration, but just utter devastation. That's the most devastated I've ever been. And leaving Stamford Bridge that night, it was like a morgue. It was dreadful. And I think we'd have beaten United that year. I genuinely felt that was our year. And that, for me, is the best Chelsea side we've ever had to go and win the Champions League. I would say better than the 12 side. So, yeah, as you can tell, it still hurts.
Oh, massively, mate. And even the Michael Ballack one. I mean, obviously, the famous pictures of Didier Drogba going down the tunnel at the end. Everyone can completely understand it. The one for me was Michael Ballack because he was always for me the picture of calm. Like he was always intense, but he was always level.
He knows it's a penalty. He knows.
Exactly.
He knows it's a penalty.
Yeah, completely that. Once you see a player that you think he doesn't react like that normally, that's usually a teller for me. And when Michael Ballott's getting on after you've had 4 in the game that's gone, I mean, and again, with Andres Iniesta whipping into the top corner from 25 yards, he's one of the best players to ever kick a ball. So that can happen. But
just on that, what I will say, just to kind of temper it and measure it a little bit, the teams are out, by the way. What I will say is that they went down to 10 men and Didier had a 1v1 in the second half.
Yeah.
So, if you think we should have got over the line, we should have got over the line, even though those decisions didn't go away.
Completely agree, mate. Well, you're absolutely right. Team news is out. It has come to us. So let's get straight to that then, shall we? In goal, obviously, for tonight, Eduard Mendy for Chelsea, Antonio Rudiger, Andreas Christensen returning to the side, Jorginho, Timo Werner, Mateo Kovacic, Mason Mount, Ben Chilwell, Reece James, Cesar Azpilicueta, captain of the side, and Kai Havertz. The brilliant Lee Parker joins us from Seville now. So, Lee, we're just running through the team there. We're talking about, I suppose the big thing is that Cesar Azpilicueta captains the side, but Andreas Christensen comes into the back 3.
Absolutely, really interesting looking team, isn't it? We were speaking just off camera a moment about the 5 changes that the boss has made from the weekend. It's certainly an exciting looking team. Interesting to see Chilwell come in at left wing back as well, isn't it? Kovacic in the middle with Jorginho. Kovacic making his 50th Champions League appearance, not just for Chelsea, of course. But it's certainly an attacking looking team with Mount, Werner and Havertz as well as your front 3 once again.
That's big, isn't it, Lee? Obviously, we know that Mason Mount's played a lot of football, as has Kai Havertz over the international break, both very involved for their countries as well. But having them both start tonight is going to be big for Chelsea. Absolutely.
I mean, people use the phrase legs. There's a lot of legs in this team, isn't there? It looks like, there's a lot of pace. He wants to play out from the back. Copper and Jorginho, we know what they can do. Mount, Werner, Havertz, they're such a fluid front 3, aren't they? I mean, we were sort of debating on camera who's going to be the number 9. Will it be Havertz? Will it be Werner off at the left? But we know for a while they can chop and change, can't they, throughout the game?
Absolutely right. And of course, we're in the home of Olivier Giroud, who's on the bench tonight.
Absolutely.
There's plenty more to come. We'll continue to build up to Chelsea in Seville against Porto in the UEFA Champions League, of course. But before that, let's take a little look at yesterday's press conference involving the manager, Thomas Tuchel.
Hello, Thomas.
Yeah, hello.
Porto were magnificent in Juventus when they won there, but now they're without their 2 top scorers through suspension in tomorrow's game. Is it important to capitalise on that in that first game tomorrow before those players return? And also, can I just add, is Oli Giroud in the running, because he's obviously got a great record in the Champions League so far this season?
Yeah, he's in the running, he's in the squad, and he is absolutely excited to return to Sevilla and to play there. So it gives him a good feeling. He's very strong for us in Champions League. He has history in Sevilla with scoring many goals in this campaign. So yeah, obviously he's in the running. The first question, we had a almost similar situation against Atletico, then with Trippier and Carrasco and Jimenez coming back in the second game, and we won the second game 2-0. So this cannot be the approach. We know that the 2 important guys are missing, but we will never approach a team like, okay, these are missing now. Now we have to decide this match. A quarter-final in Champions League. This means that you play 4 halves and 4 times 45 minutes minimum of high level football. That means we need to be fully focused. We need to be absolutely self-aware of our strengths. We did already prepare some offensive movements, some patterns from us where we want to go back and which we want to refine after our game on Saturday and after the big break and national break. We want to refine our rhythm. So the challenge is to be totally focused on our strengths and to play an intensive game and to narrow the focus down on 45 minutes and another 45 minutes. And then we will see what result we get, and then we will see how we deal with it in the second leg. I'm super happy because today is the first time everybody's back in training. So this is what you want. We will have some major decisions to take, and I have the feeling that we're absolutely ready for tomorrow's game.
Tom Body.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
You said about the situation with Kepa and Rudiger that it wasn't serious and that it's unusual but can happen. I just wondered the fact the information got out there. Does that come as more of a concern to you than the actual incident itself, that information got out?
Well, don't get me wrong, it was serious. It was nothing we can just, sometimes you have little situations where you maybe look away or where you let them sort things out alone. This was not the case. We needed to interfere. We needed to interfere in the situation. So situation was serious, but how the guys in themselves handled the situation was also impressive and showed a lot of character. But the situation was serious. That it gets out, yeah, it's how can I say it? I get used to it in modern times. There are too many channels. There are too many ways where information can get out. I heard even that some of my debrief from match got out and was out there, like what I told the team after the game and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, it's not nice. I would love to, like, the information I give you now on the incident is of course not the fully details, because I strongly believe that the details need to stay in the club, in Cobham, in training ground and in the dressing room. And of course, if we do meetings, we absolutely talk confidential, and for me it has to stay in the meeting room. Nowadays, things can go out, which is not like how we want it, but it's not such a big deal that I start now digging for who is the leak and who did this. I think you can get totally lost in that, and I don't want to lose my focus. So I'm not much out there in social media, not at all. I'm not much in the media, and I know what we talk here, and I will strongly rely that I don't want to lose my trust in the group. So I accept it.
Okay, we've got time for two more. I think we've covered that subject quite enough. Matt Law and then Andy Dillon to finish.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
I just wanted to check, because we would have expected Tony Rudiger to start this game. I just want to check that nothing that's happened would change that. Do you expect him to start the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also there seems to be a suggestion from Porto. I don't quite know where it's come from, that Chelsea players celebrated the draw, that they were happy to draw Porto. Quite a lot of that has been made in Portugal. Okay. Are you aware of that? And also, does the fact that West Brom result maybe just remind people and your players that, you know, there's never an easy game, there's never an easy draw?
So if it was necessary to remind us, okay, we take it as a reminder. It was a big slap in the face, honestly. If you take it from that result, that we needed that reminder all together, okay, let's take it like this. But honestly, I could not see it coming. Even if I watched it after the match, when I did the analyzing video, I was tempted to bet a lot of money in the 45th minute that we will win it when I watch it on video, but we did not. So I did not see it coming from the first half an hour or for the first 40 minutes that we were sloppy, that we were in overconfidence. But yeah, we got a big slap in the face, like I said, and if it was necessary to remind us how tough it is to have clean sheets, to keep on winning, okay, we take it like this. But you know, it's normal that people create stories around it, and it's absolutely normal that Porto will play their role as an underdog. We come from Premier League. They play in the Portuguese league. Obviously, they are a strong team. They're a very strong team in Champions League. How we will celebrate? How should we celebrate it? We respect any team. We come from a competition where you can obviously lose. We are able to lose against the 19s in the fixture 5-2. So we are the ones who know how humble we approach every game, and we prepare 100% professional and humble and down to earth every match. We play quarterfinal in Champions League. Once you wish for an opponent, okay, you get lost. You will lose yourself in some crazy mind games. So this is it. We have the strong feeling that we are strong enough to overcome Porto. I have the feeling that it will be a tough match, because I expect nothing else than the best Porto, a very experienced side in this competition. Champions for many years, and in Portugal. So this shapes a certain mentality. And still, I just can repeat, we are confident enough that we are strong enough, and we believe in ourselves to overcome this round, and we play clearly to make it to the semi-final.
Last question for Thomas, Andy Dillon.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
You've spoken a lot. It obviously seems, that there has been some tension in the camp following the result among the players. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about your feelings, how you were on Saturday night, Sunday, and coming in today and last few days, how you've felt. I mean, especially that Chelsea are now out of the top four as a result of that defeat, and also what you've learned maybe about Chelsea and English football, or about yourself and what you need to do at Chelsea.
Well, we need to win games. That was clear all the time, and we will never accept for ourselves a day where we concede 5 goals at home. Also, where we were 1 man down. This is something we will never accept for ourselves. I had the feeling that the players are very hard on themselves to accept it. For me, it was super hard to accept it because I have also high demands from myself and the results from the teams that I coach. So this, like I said, was a big slap in the face, but it is my job as a coach to not get lost in my emotions and not get lost in my anger and not get lost in my disappointment. So, but to just get myself up and watch the game again and watch the performances and watch our behavior. And there were clearly things that we should do better and have done better, and that better behavior on the pitch, like in how we defended, in the principles, how we attack, in the rhythm, in the body positioning, in the distance, in the passing distances in the own half to escape pressure. We did obviously mistakes that we didn't do before, so it is the moment to improve it. But there are a lot of circumstances that you have to accept. You come from a long break. We got a lot of praise. We play an early match on Saturday, and still you have to accept at one point, even as a coach, and when you are very angry after a match, that in the evening and the afternoon you still stay very, very disappointed. But we produced many numbers, crucial statistics, which normally are enough to win any game, even this game, even the same game. So it was a kind of accident, a kind of a very, very weird outcome of a strange game. We had problems to adapt to the situation, but for me it's not a question of character. We showed a lot of character in 14 matches. We showed a lot of character in super difficult situations when we arrived, and the chase is on for top 4, and this has never changed. Now we have a setback. We conceded a setback. It maybe reminds us, all of us, me included, that the race is not finished, but we are in the middle of it. West Ham took advantage of it, fair enough, okay, so we have to accept it. It was only our responsibility and our fault, I stick with it, that we lost this game. It was our fault to concede a red card, and it was clearly our fault to gamble on that red card, and it was our fault how we behaved the 60 minutes after that to allow the opponent to score 5 goals. And now we have to deal with the consequences. And this is all about this. This is sports. Even if we hate it, we hate to lose. It's clear. At Chelsea, we hate to lose, and this makes us strong. But it is in sports about the reaction. You know, anybody can feel good in a series of 14 matches without a loss. Everybody feels good. But now we won together, and now we bounce back together. This is the next step in our development, and this is what we go for. And this is how it is in sports.
Champions League nights are special. We all dream of lacing up the boots, hearing the anthem boom around the stadium, stepping out into the floodlights. We have a man joining us who's been there, done it, and worn the winner's medal around his neck twice. Welcome to Matchday Live, Paulo Ferreira. Paulo, how are you?
Yeah, all good, thanks. And you? How are you guys?
Very well, mate. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, it's a very special night for us being in the quarterfinal of the Champions League, an even more special night for you. And I suppose tinged with a little bit of disappointment as well that we're not able to be in the ground in person. But obviously, two clubs very close to your heart.
No, it is. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to be there, and it would be different if they could be in their own stadium with the supporters, and it will be much different. But it's what it is. We can't do nothing. It's for everyone, and obviously for me it's special because play for both clubs and win this competition for both as well. It's really special, and to see playing against each other. It's special for me, but also like hard because I will see one of them obviously stays behind or out of this competition after these two games. So I would love obviously to see them probably play in a final both, and it would be really nice to see it, but unfortunately that will not happen. And but happy to see two teams that were important for me, and I was able to win twice.
I've been flicking through your credentials and your stats in terms of the Champions League, Paulo, and your record is remarkable. You mentioned you've won it twice. There's only a handful of players that have won it twice. The pinnacle of every European footballer's sort of career. I've done a little bit of maths calculation as well, and it averages that you win the Champions League every 2,115 minutes in the competition, which is a frightening thing to say, isn't it? 47 appearances and won it twice. What made the Champions League so special to you as a player?
No, it's hard to say because in my first season and playing for this competition, I won it with Porto. So I was a young player, a young boy, and had my debut in this wonderful competition and win it. So what can you ask more? So it was perfect. And obviously then we were like a couple of years without winning, and then finally at Chelsea, we managed to win, and we were like so close. But it's so hard, it's a difficult competition, and you could see how many top teams and with amazing players that they are there every year, fighting and trying to win this competition. And it's not easy, not always the best team or with the top players they will win this competition, and if we go back, especially that season with Porto, we had Porto Monaco playing a final of a Champions League when you have all those big clubs with much more probably potential or quality players, or even with much more money, financially with more money than Porto or Monaco at that time, and we were there and we won the Champions League. So it's so difficult, it's so difficult, and that's why for me I felt so happy, and to especially win this competition twice, which is like you mentioned, there were so many players and top players that didn't manage to win this competition, and for me I feel really happy and proud of, obviously, when you look back, it's always nice, and win for two different teams as well.
I know that we're all biased here from a Chelsea perspective, of course, but obviously, you mentioned that you'd won it with Porto, and then you came into Chelsea, kind of, I suppose, still at the sort of the birth of the Abramovich era, and Chelsea was still sort of in their infancy into becoming like a real European superpower. But we always go down it, and it's a line that Jason Cundy came out with on Chelsea TV on the night of the Munich final. That it was our destiny to win it, and it was, it did feel like that. Did it feel like that in the dressing room, that it was only a matter of time before you won it as a club?
No, it is, and I mentioned this before a couple of times as well. We were like so close, obviously with Mr. Abramovich, with the amount of top players that he brought to the club, and not cheaper players as well. And we were almost there, and we were reaching like that point of probably will not be able to win this competition, because we, was one season after the next season and the other one, and then we start getting old as well. And for some players, probably they might think that would never happen. And that's why I say, I won with Porto, so I was really happy. But I was feeling, much more for those players. So when we finally won, the Champions League, and to be honest with you, probably was one season where, people, they say probably had to happen. It was our season, but probably was the one where we didn't play great football. To be honest with you, I think in previous years we played really well, really good football, and we really deserved to win that competition. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But like I say, I was really happy when we won it with Chelsea. I was happy for those players that they've been for such a long time, and they were there fighting every year, and we were almost there semi-finals and finals and semi-finals, and it was so hard, and for me, I felt really happy for them, because the top players, they were fighting a lot. They try and finally, that was probably the last chance for them to win the competition, and it was, because if you see that after that, most of them, they retire, and that's it, and I was so happy, and obviously the club also deserved to win that competition, because we were so close, to win it, and that season was fantastic, and I was really happy with that.
Absolutely, justifiably so.
Yeah.
Jay, I want to talk to you quickly about our one to watch tonight, which is Reece James, obviously. But Paolo is part, I suppose, part of the reason that we have such high expectations for Reece, because Chelsea have got that. It's never been a problem at right back over the last 2 decades. You've got Paolo, obviously, Jose Bosingwa, Branislav Ivanovic, Cesar Azpilicueta, even. Yeah. Reece has got big shoes to fill, but this season, the last couple of months especially, I felt he's come on a lot under Thomas Tuchel. What have you made of him?
No,
God,
sorry. No, sorry. Go.
No, listen, I never played right back. Let Paolo take this.
No. Go, Jess. No, sorry, mate.
Go on, Jay.
Well, look, there's been a number of changes at this football club. The managerial one, and of course he's had to adapt. Now I know Frank played a 3 at the back. It is a very different role, as Marcos Alonso shows. When he plays left back, he's not as effective. Left wing back, there aren't many better out there. He's got so many strings to his bow, Reece. His crossing ability is fabulous. His defensive work, I think, perhaps could and will improve. You've got to remember the age of the boy and how few games he's played at Premier League level, Champions League level, international level, but getting better all the time. But he is one of those players that you look at now and feel, I can rely on you to go in there and do that job. I felt there was a moment when under Frank where his first touch was always backwards, where when he received the ball, earlier under Frank, I felt his first touch was always forward. And I just wonder, the little bit of his confidence started to wane a bit. Whenever a player has a first touch that goes back all the time, and it was pretty much every touch, you just wonder about how his confidence is about getting over that halfway line and delivering those crosses. I've seen a massive change in him since Thomas Tuchel has come in. His touch now, he's always looking, receives the ball, and always looking to go forward. If that can't happen, he'll then either look to go inside or then go back. So he's a player that is years from his potential, and so far has been excellent. And as far as I'm concerned, has got a right shout to start for England in the Euros.
Right. Well, Thomas Tuchel's obviously elected him to start in the right wing back position this evening. Let's have a little look at what the manager thinks ahead of tonight's clash with Porto.
Focusing on the Champions League, Thomas, this will be the first quarter-final in the competition for the club in 7 years. How strange will it be, and I guess how different will it be to prepare for a tie like this when both legs of the tie will be technically away from home?
Yeah, it is clearly strange, but we cannot lose our head about it. We were involved, but the guys who are responsible for finding solutions, we trust them 100%. So I gave my opinions about it very, very briefly. I said, well, the less travel we have, the better. We absolutely prefer to play in Portugal and in England. This is absolutely clear. If there is any other solutions, we accept any solutions and we will find solutions for it. This is the mindset that I demand from my players when difficulties arrive or when situations arrive that were not expected. And this is what I demand from myself. The situation is like it is. We are privileged enough to play quarterfinals, so now we travel twice to Spain. Okay, this is the situation, and from now on we have to find solutions and do everything to overcome Porto, because we play quarterfinal to reach semifinal. This is absolutely clear. What is a bit strange, to be very honest about it, when you think about it a bit more deeply, is like, you play 2 games in Sevilla. How can it be possible that one team goes through on away goals? I mean, all teams play away all games. So you should really think about like to cut it in the same time, to cut the away goals, because I mean, imagine if you have a draw now, a 3-3 and then a 1-1, and then what is. It's more worse to do it in the away dressing room than in the home dressing room, and you play both legs in Sevilla. So this does not add up really. But will we change it until next week? I don't think so, that UEFA will change the rules on away goals. Okay, we don't have to fully understand, and this is my point. When I talk with you about it, it's nice to talk and it's nice to do a little bit fun about it. When I walk out the door here, I will not think about it one more second, because these are the rules, and within these rules we have to find solutions, and we need to absolutely adapt mentally to any situation that comes up. And this is what I demand from me and from my players, and then we go.
Our hot topic 2 for today is Porto, not to be taken lightly, and I think, Pat, that is the overwhelming underline that we need to put under it, because like you've already alluded to, you have to beat big teams to get to this far. They've already tested their mettle against Manchester City and got a very good result in one of them. Probably unfortunate to not get a result in both legs, both group games of that one. Done very well against Juventus to qualify as well. This is going to be a big test for Chelsea tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's a big test. I mean, they've been a generally very settled side this season, which really helps when you think about the comparison with that with Chelsea. We really have changed about a great deal. Is it 5 changes tonight as well that we've made? But when everyone's fit, you generally know what Porto's team's going to be. That back line, Mbemba, strong, Pepe. Well, everybody knows, but Pepe, the quality player he is. And so they're a good, strong physical side. Enjoyed watching Marega, who never stops running. Again, physicality is really special as well. But there's real talent in the team. Intriguing to see what they'll do, because the 1 or 2 misses, Abby's already mentioned that Tarema is going to be missing for this one. I think when they played a kind of 4-4-2 quite a few times beforehand, it really suited. It was working well. So we'll see what the adaptation happens there. But look, they're a decent team. They're a good team. I don't know about strength and depth in comparison to Chelsea. I don't think they'll be as strong. So over a period of 2 games, this might look very different with half an hour to go in the second game. But by that time, I'm still very hopeful that Chelsea will be maybe ahead or slightly ahead. But come the end of the games, I think Thomas Tuchel may well have a few more options than Porto have.
Abby, I mean, getting past Juventus in European competition is no easy feat, and they were tremendous especially in the second leg. Pat's already alluded to Pepe, but when you've got someone that's that experienced, that has won the competition on numerous times, won the European Championships for Porto, has been there, done it. They've got a wealth of experience. And I suppose when you come up against teams like this, with the Atletico Madrid game, you kind of knew what they were about. With Porto, there is a little bit of we're not quite sure how they're going to set up because of the players they're missing. But this is going to be, it feels like it's going to be a really good game tonight. It doesn't feel like it's going to be a cagey one, even though part of me thinks it will be as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that game against Juventus, probably one of the best games of this season. I mean, I'm hoping it's not as to the wire and stressful as that. I take a boring game if we win. I definitely take that. But yeah, as you say, it's kind of hard to work out how they're gonna set up. They can be pretty deadly on the counter attack though, so I definitely think that's something that we need to watch out for. But I am hopeful that we're going to be too much for them. I really am. I'm just keep being positive and just putting that confidence out there.
Paolo, I'm purposely not asking to move you one way or the other purposely. I'm fully respectful of the position that you'll be in tonight. We're very grateful for you to be here. But I wonder if you could give us a little bit more of an insight into what Porto are going to bring tonight. Because like Pat's mentioned, like Abby's mentioned, like Jason said before, we know they've got players missing. We know we've seen them in Champions League action, but obviously we're not as privy to how good they've been consistently this season. So what should we expect from tonight?
You know, having a player like a Chelsea player on loan at Porto, you know, like make me follow a lot, you know, this season. So we have Malang Sarr playing for Porto, so I had to watch a lot of Porto, and obviously, you know, like know as I know the club and the DNA of Porto, you know, like whatever will be the team playing, they will gonna give everything. I think Abby, you know, mentioned that game against Juventus. That was a fantastic game, but that was the Porto that I know. Playing with 10 players, you know, obviously they had to defend much more, but you could see they were like a fighting team. They were helping each other, and they never give up. So this is the DNA of Porto, and the club I know. So, and this will be for sure, you know, like they've been doing you know, well, especially like in the home in Portuguese league. Obviously the second place, and like Pat say that, you know, like the only problem of Porto is that they don't have too many options, you know, when they miss like important players. So then they don't have too many players to, you know, like to replace and keep that same level. Obviously, you know, like for tonight, Taremi, it's a fantastic strike. He's been scoring goals. They have the captain Oliveira, one of the captains as well, Oliveira, that has, you know, this season 19 goals in all competitions. So for a midfield player as well, I think they will miss him a lot. So that's the problem of Porto, is that they don't have too many options to, you know, in terms of replacing top players. So, but what they'll gonna do for sure is to give everything. You know, as I know the club and those players that I've been following, you know, this season, they for sure they will give everything, and it wouldn't be easy for Chelsea, for sure. You know, like that's from what I know and what I've been watching this season so far.
Jace, our hot topic 3 tonight is how to approach first leg, because obviously it's a very different scenario, and we're playing the away leg tonight, but obviously it's at a neutral venue. It's at a venue that we have a terrific record at, especially this season. I mean, you know, we played Seville earlier in the season there and got a very good result. Olivier Giroud, I think he's still scoring now, to be fair. I think even though full times, he's just banging them into the back of the net. Everything he touched that night turned to goals. But how do you approach a game like tonight? Because the fact that tonight is still the away leg, next week's going to be how do you approach a first leg away from home in the scenario that we are tonight?
I think this is going to be a cagey game, actually. I think this is going to be quite tight. In terms of an away goal, they can turn out to be invaluable. And I think a 0-0 draw is not always a bad result for the home side, because going there, obviously, the away goal then becomes so crucial. If we can get an away goal tonight, that would be absolutely fabulous. But I don't think we need to over-expand ourselves. I think that the way that we've set ourselves up recently, and we don't score many goals, we create 1 or 2 chances. We're not prolific, but one thing up until against West Bromwich Albion at the weekend, we've been incredibly disciplined, both shape, personnel, as a unit. Everyone has bought into the way Thomas Tuchel wants to play. And I think this is going to be one of those, if it's 0 at half time, I think both teams will be pretty happy with that. And I'm kind of expecting that the way the game to go. However, of course, if a refereeing decision, a mistake, a goal, something happens, that the game will open up. But I think we should approach it as a lot of teams do away in the first leg, try and get an away goal. Make sure you try and keep things really tight early on. Don't give them anything to defend or anything which we've got to try and go chasing. So I think the first 15 minutes will be quite cagey. And then inevitably, if a goal is scored, it will open up. But I think Thomas Tuchel knows, he's been here. He was here last season, about how to navigate your way through tricky away legs. But look, if we can get an away goal tonight, that would be fabulous. I mean, I'd take a 1-1 now.
Oh, completely agree. Abby, it does look like Thomas Tuchel fancies it as well, doesn't he? Because in terms of the front three and being Havertz, Mount and Werner, it says to me that he's looking to press high, he's looking for legs, he's looking to get energy and start the game quickly. And if you've got those three, Pepe's incredible. But one thing that Pepe does lack, I suppose, is pace, because he does everything incredibly well. But if you're gonna look for a weakness in some area of his game, if there is one that exists, it'll probably be that. So when you've got that front three, it says, maybe that says a little bit the way that Chelsea are going to approach tonight.
Yeah, it does feel like we're going out all guns blazing, doesn't it, to get that away goal? And I hope that we get it. I was reading about Porto earlier, though. They often score quite early on in their games. So I do think the first sort of 15, 20 minutes is going to be really important to set the tone for the game. But I'm hoping that we keep a clean sheet and then we attack with the three you just mentioned. Let's get it.
Let's get it. I mean, I'm not quite sure how the three are going to set up, because we're going to look at some Timo Werner analysis now that Pat has done for us. He's been instrumental in Chelsea's Champions League run so far this season, sometimes from the left and sometimes through the middle. Well, Pat's been taking a closer look at which position suits our German centre-forward best.
Timo Werner has got a number of things in his favour when he's playing at centre-forward. Number one is he's lightning quick, and we all know that. It's ridiculously quick. He's also quite calm when he gets one-on-one with goalkeepers. Always playing in the shoulder, yes, we know that as well, but this little dink over the top, it confuses goalkeepers, purely because he's a bit quicker than they think. And, if you're going to play in a line, sometimes you'll be offside, sometimes you won't, but you keep on doing the right thing. Jumping in there, diving in there, but the reaction is fantastic. And when those legs start scurrying, it doesn't look like anyone's going to catch him. At this point in time, most strikers go and try and shoot for goal. But he sees the correct option and he makes the right decision. And that's one of the great things about them. That's ridiculous, trying to catch them there. That's hilarious almost. But he's always looking for his teammates as well. And that is a fantastic thing for a centre-forward, because they're usually judged by the numbers of goals. And of course, if you add the goals and assists together, including this, this is his best one for the club so far. If you add them together, those goals and assists, he's way out ahead of anyone else at the club at the moment. This is his favourite trick. It's a really simple one. You know what he's going to do, go to the byline, but there's nothing he can do about it.
Pat, it's really interesting what you're saying in that piece of analysis. I wonder perhaps whether the link up and the I suppose relationship that he builds with Kai Havertz will be important tonight as well.
Yes, it will. And of course, we expect Havertz to be more central most of the time, because quite often, as we saw in that piece there, that Timo Werner comes from deep sometimes, and when he does come from deep, the pace is absolutely incredible. The other big thing about him is his assists have been quite stunning this season. I mean, well up there. Or top assist man by some distance. However, it's that adaptability that both of them can do either's job. So I would like to see them being able to do that, not only just linking with each other, but also, switch quite a few times. It's absolutely fine. Give the defenders a different question to answer. So I expect that. I personally, at the moment, quite like Timo coming from a wee bit deeper, purely because most of the teams we play against play deep. So he's not got a lot of space to run into. Whereas if he's got his head and he's got defenders in front of him, he doesn't do anything particularly complicated a lot of the time in terms of tricks. It's just pace. Defenders hate it. They just hate pace. And boy, does he have pace to burn.
Paolo, I love the way you were nodding your head there going, not a fan of that. I wonder though, as a player, when you've got a player in your side that has that much pace and the work rate as well that we see from Timo Werner, that's got to be something that fellow players appreciate more than anything. Know that someone's gonna constantly be at it and constantly be putting in the hard yards.
I think everybody feels that if you've got a worker. But you're talking about Timo Werner, he does work incredibly hard. In fact, he almost works as hard as Mason Mount. Nobody works as hard as Mason Mount. It's unbelievable the amount of time and the effort that he puts in. And I was thinking today, you know, what we need is, you said it right at the top, and maybe Jason mentioned it as well, legs. We maybe looked as if we lacked a wee bit of legs at the weekend. We've got plenty in there. We've got fitness, we've got physicality, we've got willingness to work. We've got a good bit of youth in there as well. So we need that today. We need that against a team that, as Paolo correctly says, they're a fighting team. They will fight and battle, and they'll chase, and they will never give up. If you've got that, you've got to match them. And the way you match them is to have hard workers. So I actually got a team out in pencil before the start of the game tonight, and I'm not being clever, but I got all 11 right because I put it purely on that. You need all the energy there. That's why I thought Chilwell would be in before Alonso in this one. That's why I'm absolutely convinced that Rudiger would play. No, in fact, he was first on the sheet. We need people with energy and pace and a willingness to fight and be able to keep on going. And Timo Werner is absolutely one of them.
Paolo, I wonder from what you've seen of Timo so far, because we know how hard he works. And I think that the one thing that he gets unfairly labelled with is, I think if you look at his statistics, it's an incredible return for a first season in the Premier League. You know, people are very quick to criticise perhaps the fact that he's not at 30 goals already, but like the return that he's given already. And players must value that so much as well, how hard he's working, but also how much he contributes as a team player rather than just a goal scorer. When you were playing, Paolo, how much would you have valued that?
Yeah, you know, like for me, obviously, you know, he's been doing really well. You know, it's not easy. Like to, you know, we see, you know, the Bundesliga as quite similar as the Premier League in terms of the quality as well and intensity. But it's not easy, you know, like to change to a different league as well. And so you have always that time of adaptation, and which for some players it can be quick, others it can take a little bit longer. And also like the momentum of the team, you know, sometimes it helps as well. You know, if the team are not doing well, we might not help either. So, but he's a top player. You know, it's a young player. I like him because he's not that player that wants the ball just only on his feet. You know, he asks the ball deep. We need those kind of players, and because it's important. That's why I was kind of moving my head, because as a defender, for example, when you have a player that only wants the ball on his feet, it was easy for me. You know, like when I had like a winger that was always, you know, ask the ball on his feet and or always going inside, was easy for me to defend. But when you have those kind of players that they ask deep, they go short, they go inside, so they give you a different challenge, and it's quite difficult because you don't know, you know, he can ask short, he can go deep, and this make you be a little bit more aware, and it's hard, you know. No defenders like to run back, and that's why you know, he's that kind of player that he has that, and he's important. He's important as well. So they can, you know, ask the ball deep. They can stretch the defenders, and he can make damage as well. You know, unfortunately for him, you know, he's not scoring the goals that probably would love to, you know, like to score. But I think, like Tuchel said well, you know, when you know how to score goals, you know, sooner or later the goals will start coming, and you just have to keep doing his job and keep working, and the goal will come. So, but he's a really important player.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. Well, we've got something a little bit new now, a little bit of a brain tease. We did something similar at the weekend, but got another game for us all to play here. So this is completely unprompted. The four guests have no idea this is coming, so I can already see the worried eyes in it. Jason's nodding along like he's composed, but I know he's going to get rattled over this. I know he's going to throw me a few pelters in the WhatsApp after it. But this is 11 players who have played for Chelsea and Porto, have represented both clubs. Now, I'm saying played because there are two on here that I'm going to throw a disclaimer in, may not have appeared at first team level for both clubs, but they've been involved for both clubs, right? So I've got 11 players that have represented Porto and Chelsea. We're going to go person by person. Last person standing gets all the bragging rights. If you get all 11, I'll be very, very impressed. And there is a tap-in, so I'm obviously going to start with Paulo Ferreira, who can give me the first name on the list. So someone that's played for Chelsea and Porto, Paulo.
Carvalho.
Not the person I thought you were going to go for. Not going to lie, Paulo. I'm very surprised you've gone with that name, but correct, obviously. Yeah, Champions League
went together, so we went at the same time, so it was easy to.
You've left a real tap in for someone else. Abby, you're up.
I'm going to go Ferreira.
Correct. Again, see, that's what I thought. That's what I thought you were going to go, Paulo. Go on then, Jace. Deco. Correct, mate. But silver, he won the silver Ballon d'Or in 2004 behind Andrei Shevchenko. And what a player he was. Pat, here we go.
Bosingwa.
Again, good work, mate. Yeah, good work. Champions League winner as well. Back to you then, Paolo.
Morelos.
Yes, very good. Who's going to do first to fall then? Abby, you're up.
It's going to be me, I think. I'm already struggling.
I'll be honest with you, this is where it gets difficult.
So am I.
Those are the ones,
Yeah,
those are the ones off the top of your head that
I
you
can
get.
help you, Abby. I can help you.
No, Paolo,
Yes,
you stay. This
you
no. I'm not having this. No chance. Go on, Abby.
Charisma.
Oh, Jason, I'm going to allow it. I'm going to allow it, but I don't think Abby would answer. So I'll allow it. But Abby, go on.
No, I'd already given up.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
I honestly can't think.
Go on, then,
It's
Pat.
come to me, isn't it?
I'm actually like that as well. I'm struggling already. And there's going to be one really obvious one left, isn't there?
There's 5, and there's 3. There's 3 that I think are gettable.
Did Ramirez play for them?
No, and again, it's not your turn, Jason. All right, it's a yellow card, mate.
It's over. The game's over.
And, hey, it's not over. Pat's gone. You and Paolo are still in. Paolo, you're up.
Manish.
Again,
Yes.
see, this is why it's not over. Correct. Jason Cundy.
Not Matic.
Not
No.
Matic, no. So, I mean, it feels like this was weighted in favour anyway, Paolo. But I would absolutely take the bragging rights. Congratulations, you are the winner. The ones that were missing, Hilario.
Tough.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
a tough one.
Silva.
I've not got Silva. Falcao.
Yeah.
Falcao again.
Of course, I
And
wouldn't
the
have got it.
two that I think were a little bit. Felipe Oliveira made a substitute appearance for Chelsea in 2002, coming for Gianfranco Zola, youth player at Porto. Christian Atsu as well, who's been on the books at both. So I think in all fairness, team,
But
I think
Thiago
it's still
Silva,
a turn.
Thiago Silva was at Porto as well.
Got some obvious ones there, is there?
See, again, Paolo, if this is correct, I've been set up well and truly here. And I've lost it all. I did have a big sparkly jacket to put on and everything like that as well. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So just give you a quick run through them because we're not far off away from kickoff. Obviously, quick run through the team still. Eduard Mendy, Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen, Antonio Rudiger, Reece James, Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, Ben Chilwell, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, and Timo Werner. That is all from us. We are back at halftime. Up next is live commentary of Porto and Chelsea in the Champions League. First, let's have a look at our top 5 goals against tonight's opposition.
Here comes Duff for Chelsea. Well, he's beat the defender and he got the shot in, and it's there. Damien Duff strikes for the Blues. Keeper might have done better, but Damien Duff won't care, and neither will they. Robin, decent touch, chance here for Chelsea, 1-1, and they were only behind for a matter of minutes. No, it's Willian. Oh, a beauty! Willian, that was stunning.
Drogba, good header. Shevchenko and Ballack has scored! Michael Ballack with a massive goal that gives Chelsea 1 foot, only 1 foot line in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Lampard, can he pick out a teammate? Got him with pace! They have made something out of it! And it's John Terry again! He scored in both their Champions League games, and no sooner did Porto threaten a comeback than Chelsea are back in charge.
front foot.